Welcome back to another episode of Excuse My Grandma. It's Kim and my co-host,
Grandma Gail.
Grandma, what's new with you? Well, I don't know why I ask what's new with you because I see you every single day.
Right, there's nothing that new.
Well, we walked around West Palm. It's called Rosemary Square the other day.
Exactly.
It's all like new construction for those who don't know, and they're definitely trying to get like a younger demographic to move down.
Well, they are
to that
moving
area
down because a lot of the financial services are all moving here. So what we did, we went into one that we have to try at night because it's not open during the day is Planton.
No, Planta.
Planta. So it was all, what is it? All
It's
a plant.
vegan.
It's vegan. And even the fish is not really fish.
Well, it's not fish. They use like other things. Like they'll do sushi, but it's not made with fish. It's made with like, watermelon or vegetable sushi.
So it looked, the menu was very large and it's a very pretty place, which I thought that was pretty. And then we ended up, because we couldn't eat lunch there because it was closed for lunch. We just spoke to the manager. We walked over to, what was the salad where you had that wonderful salad? Is that Pure Vita?
Yeah.
And that was really very funky and nice and young. I love it. So I think all these new things that are being built down here are going to rival the Miami area, and people are going to have more choices up in this end because for the most part, this was sort of a quiet sort of sleepy town, and now West Palm Beach has become a major city.
A lot of people say, oh, how do you spend so much time in Palm Beach when isn't it like a lot of your grandparents' friends and stuff? And I say it really is changing down here, although you're always saying go back to New York. That's where people go on dates, and that's where
I think that's where the young people really are starting out.
Like more single
Majority
people.
Of them, single people. What's happening here is that young families are moving down here for the quality of life, and it's a tax-free state, so people will come here for the economy versus the single scene. I still think the scene is in New York for young people, or in
Miami,
California, whatever.
LA.
And Miami, perhaps. I think Miami is certainly becoming a mecca for large companies, and therefore young people will
I could
come
go down
there.
to Miami just for a date and then come back.
Well, I think that's
Actually, I'll make them come from Miami to Palm Beach.
whatever.
And then go
I
back.
think you should go back to New York. You have an apartment. But anyway, you're doing both. You're doing it both ways. Instead of bi-coastal, you're doing two cities. So
Exactly.
it's fun, and you get out of the cold weather for a couple of weeks and then go back north. But there are certainly a lot of new places coming here. The theaters are coming here, and the ballet, of course, is here. And as you get more cultural things, you get more people down here want a quality of life. So that is a big difference for those people who really are scouting out new areas to start their careers.
Okay, so for our dating topic of the week today, Grandma, I want to talk about moving forward and letting go of the past. It's a new year. A lot of people want to turn a new leaf when it comes to dating. So we'll talk about how some of these types of situations were addressed when you were growing up, in your opinions, or even when Mom was kind of going through it, and versus, today.
Okay.
So do you think that you can't move forward unless you let go of the past?
Well, I think you have to have closure on the past relationship. It doesn't have to be a complete block out, but it should be something that's in your past so that you can put your best foot forward and look for a relationship and learn from what didn't work in the past. We have discussed this many times. Don't keep getting attracted, which most people do, to the same type. If you see that's not working, try to make a concerted effort. If you see that somebody right away is the exact opposite of what you want, don't continue the relationship. But you know what? Don't continue dating. It's not really a relationship in the beginning. So I think that is important, and you have to learn from your mistakes, and we all make mistakes. And oftentimes, the person that was really the good guy in your life or the good woman in your life, you missed. So you have to, look forward, and hopefully a new one will come in that will take its place and work for you.
Do you think once you're in a new relationship, you should discuss those past relationships that sort of affected you with the person?
No, I don't think anybody wants to know about your old baggage.
So what should be shared? Nothing?
I don't think anything. I don't think it's anybody's business.
I feel like it's okay to say, like, I've been working on this. This is something from my last relationship that
I think if you're so closed off, you're not ready for any relationship. So I think you have to work
Nope,
on yourself first.
perfect.
No, I really think people can't overanalyze a date or a new person in your life by your hang-ups. If you've got hang-ups, you've got to work on your own hang-ups first before you take on somebody else who's also got hang-ups. So I think that you have to be ready to go out and say, you know what, let's try, let's have fun, let's see where this goes. If you're not ready for that and you're dealing with all your old neuroses and your old problems with his family, your family, whatever the problem was, don't start a new relationship, because that will just color it. And it really will not go forward, I don't think, properly.
I think someone who's actively dating, it is hard because if you go on multiple dates, you still can be saying, you know what, this isn't as good as this X person. And then it is really frustrating.
Well, it's self-defeating. So I think if I was giving advice to young people today, and not really young, I'm talking about people in their late 20s and early 30s, they've already been dating. So it's not like it's their first date or their first time with a serious relationship. I think to start a new relationship, you have to have a clean slate. Just like you do make New Year's resolutions. You have to say, you know what, I'm starting from square one. I am not going to judge them from my past people, because they're gone. They're really gone. And you have to think about what's happening now. And don't constantly give contrasts, because it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And don't go on so many dates. I think, you know what, if the serial dating is fine in the beginning, but it becomes tiresome, you almost don't want to date anybody. So date one person at a time, or two people, and that's enough. And then see if either one of those two people can be something that you could grow on. If you can't, then you have to move on to, of course, other people. But I think going out on 4 or 5 dates a week is just too much.
That's too much, but I also would say don't only date one person, because you're not exclusive to that person.
One or two, but I don't think more than that. You can't really focus on somebody.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. When it comes to a breakup, did you have a song that you listen to belt when you're getting over somebody?
No. But I do have songs that I did have with old boyfriends that every time it goes on the air, I do think about.
But what do you
them.
mean? Like you were listening with the person? You were like, this is our song?
Yeah.
Like what?
True. Like Moon River, which was, I mean, there were songs that each relationship I had, there weren't that many relationships because I got married very young, but I had a few, and I do remember the songs, and I think about them fondly and sometimes sadly. Whatever it is that brings back an emotion. But you know what? You can't sit there and mope about it. Those relationships are gone, and you and I moved on, and they moved on.
Yeah. I think I have a playlist of certain songs on my Spotify that really do help me when I'm trying to get over someone.
Okay. Music is a wonderful healer.
Yeah, we honestly need to share it with you guys, a good breakup playlist from Kim and Grandma Gail. But I like that song. It's from the 70s, and it's like, you're gonna miss my lovin'. You're gonna miss my lovin'. Do you know that song?
That's good. That's good, Kim. I think you've got a career in music. I definitely think this could be your next career.
Or there's that Connie Francis song, You're Sorry Now.
Yeah. Well, that
what is that?
You're sorry now. Right.
I'm like, yeah.
All right.
Anyway, I don't know. I like listening to music in those moments. So I think that it's harder today, obviously, because of social media when it comes to moving on. That's a bad thing. Because you have constant reminders if you're still following an ex. Usually I would say try to mute them, mute their stories, mute their posts. But sometimes you're just so curious and you look anyway.
And I don't know how many 30-year-olds are still on social media.
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
They don't turn it off?
No.
Okay.
Most people are on social media. They have an Instagram.
Well, maybe some of the
even
people,
if they don't post all the time.
Maybe the ones that you need to meet are the ones who are not on social media.
Maybe. Back in the day, was there an equivalent to social media, with checking up on exes? Did you drive by people's houses or something? How did you stalk people?
I don't. You'd run away. I don't think we stalked anybody really that much. We had friends that would tell other friends what they were doing.
Yeah.
So I guess there was the gossip chain. Like the game of telephone. One person would call another person, and you'd sort of get it through the back door comments. But you know what? We didn't have that kind of pressure with social media. We had enough pressure on our own. So, but first of all, relationships ended much quicker, and we got married and had more serious relationships much faster. It wasn't a matter where you're moving in with people, spent years together, and then decided to move on to the next thing. It was what it was. You made a commitment, right or wrong, and a lot of them ended up in divorce. There's no question. But a lot of them today end up divorced, and they're still on social media. Because when you sometimes outgrow each other, unfortunately. Not everybody grows at the same pace. But you know what? There are relationships that started on a very simple age in high school and stay together till they're 100. So it's really what you make of a relationship. And a lot of it is really making a relationship work. I don't think it's the chemistry. I think it's two people that set about making a relationship work for them.
I think that's kind of where we differ, which people are aware about, where I feel like you definitely need that chemistry. Otherwise, it's just like a friendship that you decide to be partners with.
Okay. All right.
So that's our difference.
Okay.
Want to talk about our headlines of the week?
Okay, sure. Their headlines are so terrible. I don't know what you're talking about, but you give me what you want. You're asking me.
Well, I definitely want to hear your headlines in the week, but I could start. I just wanted to do a quick recap of the Golden Globes.
Okay, that could be your headline.
It was not good.
No, well, I think the MC got panned.
I had no idea. I know a lot about pop culture. I had no idea who this guy was. He was a comedian.
I think he's a comedian
and
somewhere.
I think he used to date Chelsea Handler, and that's all I know. He didn't do a good job.
It wasn't funny. It really wasn't funny.
It wasn't. Sorry.
It wasn't funny. I feel badly for him.
Yeah.
And he, I heard through on one of the, I guess, extra, one of those things on the TV, said he wants to do it again. I don't know why you would want to subject
Well, I'm sure
himself.
he wants to do it again and like redeem himself, but I don't think anybody else wants that.
I don't
Who
know.
makes the decisions?
I think these award programs are overdone. There are too many of them. It was one thing when there was just one Academy Awards, and then the Golden Globes were sort of secondary. But now every day there's either a country and western award, there's this award, there's that
I think we need the Oscars.
I think
we need
unfortunately, there are no films, Kim. And if you can't have Oscars without really good films, and this year there were limited amount of quality material. Certainly Oppenheimer was no question blew everything else out of the water. But there were other movies, no really terrific ones. Barbie, of course, made the most money, I'm sure. And that was a fun movie, but not Oscar worthy. And so unless you're going to give it for cinematography. So
well, yeah, there's categories for everything,
correct,
obviously.
Correct. But they need more product. And since the product really isn't there, and so much of it goes to Netflix or goes to the streaming channels right away, people don't want to spend hundreds of millions of dollars producing a film that is not television ready.
Exactly. Gonna go to streaming.
No, I think that it has to go to streaming.
Be like widely popular. Right. I mean, the red carpet itself equally as bad. Well, so they didn't even put it like on, I think CBS does the Golden Globes, and that was like a new acquisition.
I don't know. I don't know. I only watched bits and pieces of it.
The red carpet wasn't even on cable. It was just like streaming on your phone, but most people kind of get the highlights of like who's wearing what from Instagram anyway, like just scrolling through you see stuff. So I understand not like maybe making it a whole thing if people are just seeing it on social media anyway, but the journalists who like interview the celebrities weren't even good. I know there were some like social media content creator people who were asked to kind of host on the red carpet and ask questions, which I found a little bit more interesting, but also kind of cringe.
I don't think any of these people have enough talent to do this. It takes really Joan Rivers or
Yes.
somebody really who's fun up there on their feet and who really can do it. So as far as I'm concerned, the whole show could have been dropped. And so I don't think that's...
But I love watching the behind the scenes of Hollywood. I love seeing celebrities. I mean, people are like so enamored by that. They love to thank the Academy when they're daydreaming in their own lives of being like, I'm going to be an actor. And it's the whole thing about Hollywood that I think people really like fantasize about. Like if you don't have these shows,
But I think you don't need as many shows.
Maybe.
Quality over quantity. And I think in this world today with all the issues that are really foremost in people's minds, this is very low on the list.
Right. So let's go to your headlines of the week.
Well, my headlines were a disaster. I mean, so maybe we could keep talking about your Golden Globes. I mean, basically, there were lots of problems this week. We had a general who was missing in action. He unfortunately had a procedure, and he was not in his work. And we had nobody at the Secretary of the Defense Department who was in charge, and that's very scary in a world where there are two wars, basically, that are really, really engulfing all of us. So that was a very scary issue, and somebody has to be fired. Somebody has to come to terms with we need better oversight in our government because we're all sitting around hoping that somebody is protecting us, and that left a very, very big door open. That was one terrible thing, and we wish General Austin well. We want him to be well, but there was definitely a failure there. And I think that was one headline that caught everybody off guard. And then also, I think these protests that are paralyzing some of the big cities are a disgrace. And of course, people are realizing it, and they should start throwing these people who are disrupting transportation and bridges, etc., have to go to jail and have to have stiff penalties.
I don't understand how police don't get involved.
They're told not to by the mayors and the governors in their respective states.
Like, I get not stopping a protest, but a protest that's blocking.
No, they can protest all they want, but not protest on a highway or a bridge.
You can't stop normal activity.
Flow of
or whatever.
Flow of traffic and flow of industry. How are people supposed to get to their jobs if people are sitting in the middle of the street?
Are we sure that police didn't intervene?
I think eventually they did and arrested them.
Yeah.
But this is too much. It's too much. And I think that things are going to change rapidly.
Okay, lastly, let's just finish up by what we're watching right now on TV because we're both constantly watching television all
but you
day.
and I watch very different things.
Exactly. So let's talk about what we're both watching.
Well, I only watch the foreign films. So, I'm watching series on Amazon that are all in Italian
what was
or
this
all
week?
in French. Well, this week was a very cute thing on French Love. I don't even remember the title. It was adorable. It was like a rom-com in French where somebody took on a roommate and they ended up, of course, getting together at the end. But it was a very cute little diversion. It was 8 chapters. When I remember the thing, I'll tell you next time. But that was cute. And then I went immediately to Italy and watched something else. There was a couple
You're
of
traveling.
chapters. I was all over. This one was in Italy. Was a policewoman who also owns a vineyard. So it was very eclectic. She was riding horses in the vineyard and solving all the crimes. So I like this MZT channel that's on Amazon because they get these way out foreign mysteries, and I really enjoy it. I don't watch regular TV except for the stock market. So
Right. You watch the news, and then otherwise you're streaming.
Yes,
series.
correct. And they need more product. I think they need us. Because they really need more product. I've seen everything.
I've
on
seen
Netflix.
everything.
Yeah, I've seen everything.
But we
on
watch
Netflix.
a lot of TV. Most people are like, "Oh, I still haven't watched." I don't know, like
Well, I don't know what they're
Bridgerton, and you're
doing
like,
at night.
I
Maybe they have a much better social life than we have.
So I ask my friends that all the time, like, what are you doing
Well, they're
before
reading,
bed?
maybe they're reading.
Some of them do read,
Yeah.
and then some of them say they get back from work, they cook dinner, and they go to sleep.
Well, because they've had a tough day.
Because it's like a long day. I don't know if our day is quite as tough.
No.
Maybe.
Well, we've had I have tough days. I have to sometimes rest.
Actually, even if it's like the toughest day of my life, I will watch TV before I go to bed.
I find it relaxing.
Exactly.
But I put certain shows on like starting at 10:30. I put the HGTV on.
Yeah.
And I watch them. I don't know, house hunters. I don't know where they're finding these houses, but I find it almost puts me to sleep. And sometimes it does. And I find at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm still
the TV is
still on.
Yeah. Okay, so I am now not rewatching because I never watched Beverly Hills 90210, the original from the 90s. I watched the reboot in the 2000s, but I never watched the original, and it's really kind of blurry, but I love it. And everyone's so cute.
Real fantasy. That was before rom-com.
Well, the most important thing to me is that the episodes are about an hour, and then there's like 20 something in a series, and then in a season, and then there's like, I don't know, 10 seasons or something in the series. So that's so much for me to binge, and I just needed something that big to binge. So I'm happy about that.
And it's fun.
Yes.
And it's fun.
And otherwise, I'm watching my reality shows. What was this week? The Beverly Hills reunion finale was this week. The Salt Lake City Part 1 reunion was this week. There's a lot of drama, Grandma. I don't even think you want to hear about it.
No, I don't think so. I find them very silly. But okay, everybody has to relax and enjoy what they like watching, and that's what we're gonna. That's really the message we're telling you. You do relax. Everyone should do it in their own style and what they want to find. And there's so much variety that can put you in a better mood after a long day at the office.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, let us know if you want us to weekly update you with what we're watching, and we want to hear what you guys are watching too.
I have to get the titles down.
Yeah.
Because I forget them the minute I've turned off the TV.
Okay. Another great episode of Excuse My Grandma. Please follow us on social media, share this podcast with your friends, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.